Yo, welcome back to another edition of the Men Who Cry podcast. Like, subscribe, review, tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. You don't do these things, I have to assume that you are not big into getting H2O during the day. On today's episode, we will be continuing our top 25 butterfly moments of the last 25 seasons. Next week's podcast, we will be discussing a little bit more of what we normally talk about on this podcast, which would be a lot of interesting business things have happened in sports recently. Basically, ESPN getting Red Zone and essentially the NFL stopping from ESPN from covering their league. But we'll get more into that, like I said, on next week's show. But on today's show, we'll be closing out numbers 17, 16, 15, and 14 on this list. So without any further ado, we will start with number 17 on our list. The number 17 butterfly moment of the last 25 years we have is LSU versus Iowa for the national championship game, aka this was the blacks versus the whites, as it was known unfortunately to come to be. This game happened on April 2nd, 2023. This was Angel Reese, LSU Bayou Bengals defeating Caitlin Clark's Iowa Hawkeyes in the national championship game. The reason why this moment or this game was so important is because it set up what I believe is to be the interest of the WNBA. Since Caitlin Clark has been in the WNBA, the numbers do not lie. They have spiked everywhere. They have gotten a significant amount of new fans. They got several new teams that are coming in. We've already seen the Valkyrie, the Golden State Valkyrie. They are now have the Turbo, who are in Toronto, and I believe they're getting another team in Portland as well. Nashville might get a team, and we'll be interested to see how much these teams are worth with a team like the Connecticut Sun now being for sale and seeing where they will actually be relocated to. The game itself was essentially a blowout. Caitlin Clark's team lost pretty bad. Floja Johnson, Angel Reese, they were able to beat their team pretty bad. It's the "you can't see me" look from Angel Reese that got everything going. And a culture war started from this moment that we have yet to recover from. But it is the dawn of something that is brewing. Caitlin Clark, this is her only entry, spoiler alert, on this list. Seeing that her rise to fame has just come in the last couple of seasons, in the last 25 seasons. But she is the golden child of this league. And this moment, I think, galvanized the fan base around her, even though they lost. She came back next year, they lost again to UConn, I believe. Either way. They lost South Carolina. Either way, this was the start of her rise up into getting into like mainstream fame, and the idea that women's basketball took another step forward with this game being played. I'm pretty sure this is the highest rated game ever in women's college basketball history. It might have been topped since then, but I'm pretty sure this is the highest rated game that they've ever had. And basically was the set of what became, what I said before, the rivalry that has shaped in large part the WNBA. We will see how long this goes. Caitlin Clark currently isn't having a great season. She's been hurt a lot this year with different injuries all around. But this was definitely the start of her moment and her fame. And same thing with Angel Reese. Shout out to her being a national championship winner as well. All right, sliding over to number 16. Number 16 on our list, we have the Miami Dolphins doctors failing Drew Brees' medical. Yes, this happened. This didn't happen on this date that we were saying, but on March 14, 2006, Drew Brees signed with the New Orleans Saints. For those who don't know or you weren't around the time, Drew Brees was originally a second-round pick by the San Diego Chargers. He had a decent couple of seasons, but he was also got hurt at one point, messed up his shoulder, which led them to be able to draft Phillip Rivers. Really, they drafted Eli Manning and then traded him for Phillip Rivers, but that's neither here nor there. And essentially, Drew Brees had another season because Phillip Rivers didn't come into camp at times, so he was able to rehab and play. But the doctors were like, this guy's shoulder's going to fall apart. And it was very much, between the Miami Dolphins at the time, whose head coach was Nick Saban, and the New Orleans Saints. The reason why this is such a pivotal moment, and one of the things that I really wanted to highlight on this list, is because this affected so many franchises in so many different ways, in so many different sports. You have Nick Saban, who was in the NFL for a decent while after he left from LSU. And he was unceremoniously fired after 2 seasons with the Dolphins. He went 15-7. They went 9-7 his first season, but the next season they went 6-10. And if Drew Brees gets signed by the Dolphins, I mean, you would think that they might have had another season with there, and maybe Saban is staying with the Dolphins. Now, would Saban have gotten fired? Maybe. You have to think, this is Tom Brady's time in the league. He's in the Patriots have racked off so many straight AFC championships or AFC East championships at this point. I can't go ahead and say that it wouldn't have happened. But then Drew Brees turned around and revitalized the Saints. People have to remember, this was 1 year after Katrina, okay? And that franchise was as dead as any franchise could have been in sports. Not only does he revitalize them, help them win a Super Bowl, he goes on to have a Hall of Fame career with them. And he's the best player in franchise's history. And also kicks off was arguably the greatest dynasty in college football history with the Alabama Crimson Tide. So 3 completely different organizations were completely flipped by these doctors' one decision. Completely changed the course of football as we know it for the better. I think outside the Dolphins, I think the Saints were very happy at the time, and I think the Crimson Tide were also very happy. So number 16 on our list, Miami Dolphins doctors failing Drew Brees for him to be able to go and sign with the New Orleans Saints. Number 15 on our list we have for you guys is Ray Allen's shot versus the San Antonio Spurs in Game 6 of the NBA Finals. Yes, this game happened on June 18, 2013. Set the scene for everyone. The Heat were just the NBA champions. They just beat the Thunder the year prior, right? However, this potentially was going to be the Heat losing in the finals 2 out of the last 3 seasons. They had just previously lost to the Dallas Mavericks the year before. They were able to beat the Thunder, and now they're playing the Spurs. And the idea that this team was essentially going to fall apart when they were the heavy favorite was going to be jarring. The game was an incredible game. It was an incredible series between the two guys, and Ray Allen was able to get off a 3-point shot. And this is always a great thing about coaching. Why I find a lot of people who always crap on coaches to be hilarious is part of the reason why Ray Allen is able to get that shot, if you don't remember, is Greg Popovich takes Tim Duncan out the game. He's out the game. And the reason why he's out the game is because why would you have him in the game? You only need a 3 beats you or ties the game. You don't care about a 2-point shot. But the reason why is LeBron James takes a 3, he misses, and Chris Bosh is able to get the rebound, find Ray Allen. Ray Allen's able to set his feet behind the line, hit a 3, tied game. And then they're able to go on to win the game. And then Game 7, the Miami Heat win to get LeBron James his second MVP, Finals MVP, the year after he won MVP that season. And that was the first guy. That was the last guy to win MVP and Finals MVP in the same season. Since then, it was Steph Curry a couple years later. Then after that, it was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. But if you don't realize, if he doesn't get that shot off, the cart, if people don't remember, weren't really around during that time, the trophy's on the court. They're pushing it on the court. The game's over. And then they have to like slowly wheel it back. I'll never forget, there was guys leaving the arena. There are Heat fans leaving the arena, then sprinting, trying to get back in the arena. They couldn't get back in. I'll never forget these guys just trying to bang on the door to get back in. So at number 15, Ray Allen's shot to help the Miami Heat secure their second championship in as many seasons. All right, and finally for y'all, number 14 on the list, number 14 for you guys, is the Boston Red Sox completing a 0-3 comeback against the New York Yankees in 2004. Yes, this is on October 20th, 2004. This is when the comeback was complete. This is the only time in MLB history that we have had a team come back from 0-3 down against the Yankees. So I am not a Yankees fan. However, I've grown up in New York. I know a lot of Yankees fans. I embrace the culture of Yankee fandom. I wasn't a fan prior to this moment, but if you go back and look at the history, this rivalry was a hammer versus a nail. The Yankees being the hammer, the Red Sox being the nail. I mean, they beat this team down every single time. And you will not convince me that this moment is not the moment where the Red Sox completely changed this rivalry. It completely changed. Since this moment's happened, they've had 4 World Series. They've beaten the Yankees in the postseason since this moment as well. Granted, it's a 1-game wild card, but they still beat them. And the mental lock that I always feel like if baseball people know, the Yankees have a mental lock on the Twins. It is there, locked in. The Twins in a big spot will never beat the Yankees so long as I live, ever. But the Red Sox had the same thing going until this very series. And the fact that they did it in historic fashion completely changed the way that these two franchises have gone. It is one of the most stunning events that took place coming back from a 3-0 deficit. But it's also just something where it completely, I think, allowed the Red Sox to finally break out of this mental lock that they had on the Yankees. And again, winning the World Series the same year that they were able to come over this deficit. Because I mean, at this point, you have to win the World Series at that point, which they did, and 3 others since then. So that is the list for you guys. A little short pod for you guys. Just get these bad boys out. We will be back again on Monday for a little bit longer of a topic, like I just mentioned before, and we will finally crack into the top 10 of the best 25 moments of the last 25 seasons. Thank you guys again for listening to the Men Who Cry podcast. Like I said, like, subscribe, review, and I'll see you guys in a couple of days. Peace.